gas ourselves up, but we short on breath. Talking about we eating, but who we really cooking. Dreaming about greens, but ain't nobody looking. No land, no acres, no seeds in the ground. When the hunger hits, who's gonna be around? We starving every day, and it just ain't the food. Feeding the hood garbage, got 'em acting a fool. We flossing with rides, stunting with chains, but these bars we spitting just bring more pain. We guilty as hell, preaching all these lies, selling debt to the kids, and we acting surprised. We commercialize the pain, broadcast the grief, tell the youth to hustle, but hide the beef. We glorify the trap, invite them to the flames, just like Reagan brought the crack on planes back in the 80s when the streets got soaked. My people, my brothers, all got choked. Reagan said no trades, but we know the deal. He left us in the dirt. Man, that shit was real. I was just a shorty watching it unfold, old enough to see how we got sold. War on drugs, but it was war on us. Cops on our necks, no love, no trust. They labeled us thugs, beast on the block, made us kiss the pavement while they cleaned our clock. Prison became business thanks to Reagan's game. Free labor is the truth in America's name. Slavery's dead, man. That's just a word. Read the 13th Amendment, it's still absurd. They lock us in cages, serving time for life. Double digits for wisdom, cutting sharp like a knife. I'm here to say, the chains in the air, it's time we break free, start showing we care. No more flexing for nothing, no more selling out. It's time to rise up.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Friday, thank God it's Friday. It's the weekend, hope everybody, it's supposed to be a nice one too, it's going to be really hot. This morning, I'm going to talk about conditional visas, billionaire donors, and the Rochester racial divide. But before we get into all that, I got 250. Everybody kill it. And I'll be right back right after this.
Fuck them and everybody with them. I'm F&G, we don't fuck with nobody. I'ma everybody kill them. I don't love her. Fuck her, pass her to my brother. Baby was bad as a motherfucker. I had to snatch off the rubber. Bitch, nigga, fuck them and everybody with them. I'm F&G, we don't fuck with nobody. I'ma everybody kill her. I don't love her. Fuck her, pass her to my brother. Baby was bad as a motherfucker. I had to snatch off the rubber. Flop or something. My finesse ain't been dropping nothing. At the trap, it ain't copping nothing. Get the fuck out the spot, nigga. She keep asking the cop or something. Must gon' give me some top or something. All that Haitian ain't stopping nothing. They couldn't wait till I drop, nigga. Glock 22, take out the roof. I got a bonus if you hit his face. Treat me like Debo, they go for next. Don't get your chain snatched in the H. Her nigga weird, got a location. We had the fuck in a whole nother state. Hey, there you go, pull up beside him. Hey, I'll knock off your motherfucking brakes. Bitch, nigga, fuck them and everybody with them. I'm F&G, we don't fuck with nobody. I'ma everybody kill them. I don't love her. Fuck her, pass her to my brother. Baby was bad as a motherfucker. I had to snatch off the rubber. When I see my man, I'm gone at him. Better open your eyes. I told you when I catch her, I was gonna get you. Why you looking surprised? Run them down, turn that boy to a whole marijuana pound. Yeah, when I'm in the H, you can't come around. Extra clip, fucking let off 200 rounds. Fuck that bitch with a thong on. Ooh, baby, you grown. Yeah, baby, I'm on. How time cologne on. When they got me a prepaid. Set up plays on 3 ways. Same forces for 3 days. Take it to LMG days. That's how I been feeling. Bitch, nigga, fuck them and everybody with them. I'm F&G, we don't fuck with nobody. I'ma everybody kill them. I don't love her. Fuck her, pass her to my brother. Baby was bad as a motherfucker. I had to snatch off the rubber.
That was finesse 2 times. Everybody killer. This morning, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is conditional visas. I know a lot of people are like putting out that it's when it comes to Mike Lindell's issue, I shouldn't say issue, but solution to what is actually going on in Minnesota. I shouldn't even just say Minnesota, but America. And I know that maybe, when he first said it, maybe the words weren't right. Because I really do believe, like I had to look up amnesty, what that meant when he said it. I was watching the Stock Center and I was plugging it in there, but at the same time he was doing that event in Stock Center, I was having to all these like influencers were like, especially Republican, were all of a sudden talking about his conditional visas, and I was like, a lot of this shit don't even make sense because what he's saying out of his own mouth and how they're interpreting it and then putting it into a whole different another context. Because I'll say it like this. I think a lot of people don't think about this when it comes to the immigrants because we always say illegal, right? We always say illegal. But the part that we leave out is the fact that Biden, they were letting people cross the border openly. So how is that illegal? That's what I really want people to think about. And we don't even know who's all here when it comes to them other countries. So being people got to get fingerprinted, look in their backgrounds. We have to know who they are. That's about accountability. And the fact that they can't, if they don't know how to speak English, they don't get driver's license because as we've seen in the Shiloh Hendricks, that the man is literally semi-driver and he doesn't understand English. So it's like, I really do see like the GOP in Minnesota is really spinning narratives, and it reminds me of 2022 with Scott Jensen and how these so-called conservatives, Republicans, were bashing Jensen all because of one thing. All because of one thing that people were able to spin into chaos when he brought up the fact of that there was a family in northern Minnesota that had a litter box in the classroom. That was a real story, but the way that they spun it out of control into chaos, and there wasn't no coming back after that because I really do believe with everything going on right now, that Amy is not, listen, I know people, I've been debating people, whatever you want to call it, for like the last couple of days about Amy, right? And I'm going to be honest, I don't really believe that Amy can even win because the biggest district in Minnesota doesn't even want her. Because I can bring up two names, Marvin Haynes, Mayan Burrell, and there's others. And that, to be honest, I think that's why they got rid of the CRU, because it was exposing too much about Amy Klobuchar, about her time as Hennepin County prosecutor. I mean, you got to look at it, and that's the crazy thing. And even when I talk to Black people about Mike Lindell, I was tough on Mike at first. I thought this was not a person that I could vote for or even get behind, but I can get behind him. I can get behind a person talking common sense. Because what is wrong with accountability? That's what I don't get. What is wrong with accountability? Nothing. So yesterday, Mike Lindell was on he's got a network that's, and don't know
What's happening? They're all saying I want six.
They don't have this. He's got his own network. Other people just talk about it and really don't do it. But I do want to get into like Lisa DeMuth and Kendall Qualls, because as all this was going on, and thank you, Lisa and Ryan Wilson, because I really did have a lot of respect for Ryan Wilson, but I don't anymore. Like the gloves have came off, and how people are acting in the Republican Party is, why are y'all throwing stones at a glass house when y'all live in a glass house? Because Lisa DeMuth, your biggest donor to Billionaire, died. He exploits the B1 visas because he's got a corporation in Wisconsin that also has a plant in Mexico. So there was a whole article about this earlier this year. That's how, like, people don't do their homework. They don't read. So when I was looking up amnesty on Wednesday night when Lindell had said it in, in his press con, or I shouldn't say press conference, but is an event in Sauk Center, it made me look it up. But while I was looking up that, you know what's crazy came up? The guy over in Wisconsin and how he's got a plant down in Mexico. And there's a whole article about this in Milwaukee about how he's being investigated for using a shuttle. Like, y'all don't want to talk about that, so it's okay. Like, that's the whole thing that I don't get. And like, anytime that it comes to that people have to face accountability, they get scared. Because you know why? A lot of people don't want to face accountability. Let's be honest. A lot of people don't want to face accountability. They don't want to have to look in the mirror and see their sins and seeing that they've been sold out to community. They've been bought out. Because, even in a conversation yesterday in Minnesota Speaks, I think his name was Anthony. He's up in CD8 and brought up the fact of like their salaries. It's like $174,000. And a lot of these people have made millions being in Congress. And every time it comes to being accountable, they don't want to. There's all other ways around it. And so I see it how when people like that, the unknowns, because I never knew about this guy until last night, but I loved what he was saying, because like, what's wrong with accountability? What's wrong with actually checking ourselves? Because I can tell you like this is why Republicans and Democrats are scared of Mike Lindell. Because I can guarantee you like this, Phil has it that there will not be any more elected officials able to give nonprofits money. No allocations. They have to come through a system on merit, on actually showing what you did, not just because you're buddies. See, that's the problem. And when you talk like that, they don't want that. They don't want accountability. They don't want to have to look in the mirror and see that they've done wrong. So I'm going to play this real quick. This is Mike Lindell explaining about the conditional work visas.
Mike Lindell is the #1 trending topic if you've looked on X today, with tens of thousands of tweets reacting to what he had to say about illegal immigrants in our country. Now, it was spun in most media, especially the Washington Examiner headline, as being a mass amnesty plan, to which many of his followers and conservatives reacted immediately. But is it really amnesty? And is this, as the Examiner and John Solomon's Just the News tried to spin it, a break from President Donald Trump's policy, who is obviously his good friend, and President Trump has just endorsed Mike Lindell for governor of Minnesota? Join us now to react is Mike Lindell himself. Mike, thank you for joining me. My phone has been lighting up. Do you support mass amnesty, and have you broken from President Trump?
Fake news, 100% fake news. I do not support amnesty. I have the president's back. Everything he says to deport all the illegals, I've always had his back on everything, and I have the proven track record. And let me tell you now, Emerald, before we've talked before, this just is fresh off the news here in Minnesota. This is breaking 2 minutes ago. I just got a call from my lawyer. Now, a lawyer in Minnesota here has come against my campaign, saying that I broke campaign laws, by giving out pillows at the parades we had in Minnesota here at our campaign parades. So let's follow, you guys. Follow this track. I did an interview a month ago, everybody, with Esme Murphy. I did it in Minneapolis. I'm at an event last night, Emerald, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I look at social media, and it breaks open saying I want 6-month amnesty. And they're pulling up stuff from the past, taking comments out of order. Well, I got news for everybody. I am against all amnesty, period. Anything I've ever said has been taken out of context and going, hey, in Minnesota here, if you become governor, we got a mess here in Minnesota. We protect criminals. We protect everything. It's so simple. If I'm governor, first thing you do, ship out these illegals that have come and that are in our prisons. We know where they're at. And then as you get arrested, you go, hey, ICE, we got some more. We got some more. In Minnesota, they give licenses to egos, driver's license. And the biggest thing, Emerald, you can vote in our elections here. We don't know who you are. If crimes are committed, we don't know who you are. Now, I did say, you know what? Some of these visas that people haven't renewed their visas. That even the President Trump says these seasonal visas. These people, they're what they overstay or whatever because they're afraid. Who knows what's going on? But there are visas that are out there, and everybody's putting this in this class. And I go, in Minnesota, I did bring up a problem. All these employers are paying people $1.5 billion worth of revenue, tax revenue, cheating other companies and people in Minnesota and the federal government by paying these illegals illegally. So we talk about this, and I'm not an immigration expert, and these are things that would have to be done at the federal level to clean this up, and they're working on it. It's a very complex issue. But what the Minnesota, and I believe this is the right, what they did, they just attacked me saying, Mike Lindell wants 6-month amnesty. Now, I am going to tell everybody where I made a mistake. Last night, I'm at an event, and I can't get off that stage, everybody. So I called my social media gal, and I said, this is what's happening. They're all saying I want 6-month amnesty. We got to do something. So we both talked and said, let's put out a meme, and it said, 6-month amnesty, question, find the real truth here. Well, just like the president, when he said, go see the evidence that was declassified, nobody went to see that. It made it look like, wow, Mike does really want 6-month amnesty. For that to happen, you couldn't put these horrible events right in a row. If I wouldn't have been on that stage, I was just ready to take the stage. I would have thought it through and going, I'm not going to put question mark. What about people that didn't even read those other attacks by the Russian example? So it went viral, Emerald, but people know me. They know, of course, I have President Trump's back. He just endorsed me. That's why they're attacking. This is the Minnesota GOP. It started with them, started with the Minnesota media, and I've got people calling my pillow. They're calling all my people out there in Minnesota that are on the ground. Even some of my people. I'm not going to walk in your parade today. Well, wow. Did you bother to ask me? You know me. I fought for this country. It's America first. We are first. I've always had the president's back. You got to get illegals out of here. They poured across the border. There's no amnesty. And then people can say, oh, Mike, you're scaling it back. I never wanted amnesty. But anything I said when these liberal media was interviewing me, I said, here's what could be done. You could go get all their fingerprints, get them in there. And then if they vote in our elections, they're out of here. They commit a crime, they're out of here. At least we knew where they were at, but that's not a pathway to citizenship. It was a suggestion to going, hey, we could do this. And then I want to tell everybody this because they're going, well, Mike, this has been posted, some of the things that you put in there for to fix us nationally. Well, you guys, this goes back to, I'm going to quick tell it, in 2015.
All right, stop there. And the part that I do want to say, though, is that what a lot of people I feel like don't understand or can't comprehend is like we have to look back at the last administration. We had open borders. People that we like to say that they're illegal, but they crossed the border while it was open. That's why when they take the amnesty thing out of context. Because when we're talking about the last administration, over 15 million people came here. Over 15 million. So doing fingerprints, doing background checks, there's balance and checks to that. So I wanted to put up a little bit about this is Lindell's website, that Mike Lindell's Minnesota immigration plan opposes sanctuary policies, supports border security, and protects resources for citizens and legal residents. Mike Lindell believes legal immigration done right strengthens the country, but chaos at the border and in our cities with look the other way policies weaken trust and strain communities. He hears concerns from Minnesotans about costs, crime, and pressure on schools and services when the system is abused. As governor, Mike will oppose sanctuary policies, back strong border security, and support enforcement that removes criminals and fraud from the system while respecting those who will follow the rules, and work hard. He will work with federal partners to crack down on abuse and refugee and benefit programs. So to scare resources, so like, I don't know what the hell that is. So resources go to citizens and legal residents as intended. Mike also supports legal green card and visa holders and hope they apply for citizenship to join our community fully. His North Star is the rule of the law and fairness so that families paying by the rules don't feel abandoned and communities see stability instead of constant strain. See, I don't understand like what's wrong with that, because if we were doing it and made it easier, that okay, if you have a, when people checked in and they did their fingerprints into that 6 month period, uh all right, I don't know if it's maybe I'm speaking out of context or whatever, but if people had to do it the right way, people would want to stay here. People would want to do right. So I don't understand like what is the big thing about accountability? And I see that people are really, really scared of that word. They're scared of looking in the mirror, because I'll even show you um when I was talking about, Lisa DeMuth and her um biggest donor, her billionaire donor. It's crazy to me, right? Um so a Milwaukee City Council member calls for inquiry into Uline's previous shuttle program to bring Mexican workers. And what's crazy is because I like when I was in Red Wing before George Floyd happened and all this, I was working at a company called I think it's called Cozy Group now, but it was called Big back in the day. Uh, and during a time when they were like the workers were on strike at Big, uh, they would have the Mexican workers come up here. So it made me like kind of like damn, because you would even hear people that were there who were still working about when the Mexicans came up, and they could barely, some of them couldn't speak English, trying to train. So, I mean, I don't see what the biggest, like, what the issue is about accountability. That's what I don't understand. Like, why, when you put the word accountability on it, people are scared because they have totally spun. Doesn't matter if it's left wing media, doesn't matter if they call themselves independents. They've all went with a narrative, not even the truth, not even the truth, and that's like what's crazy to me, right? Mm, mm, mm. Uh, so again, a Milwaukee City Council member has called for an investigation into the immigration policies at Uline, the office supply company owned by Liz and Richard Uline, two of the biggest donors to MAGA Republicans in the 2024 election. Uh, the statement by Joe Costa Zampira, who is running for the Democratic nomination for Wisconsin Secretary of State ahead of November's election, follows an investigation by The Guardian into Uline's previous use of a so-called shuttle program. It involved the company bringing workers from its facilities in Mexico to staff warehouses at its headquarters in Wisconsin, Florida, and Pennsylvania. for weeks and even months at a time, using visas that are meant for workers who are being trained, not working regular full-time jobs. Uline is privately held, but it is estimated to generate $8 billion in revenue per year and employs about 9,000 people. Billionaires fund the crackdown, then exploit the very people targeted by it because they think money shields them from consequences. Wisconsin needs transparency, a real investigation, and accountability that applies to everybody. Uline declined to comment on their remarks. The company has previously declined to comment on detailed questions about the shuttle program, which sources with knowledge of the matter said was abruptly halted in late 2024 when The Guardian first reported on the practice. A story published by The Guardian earlier this month featured an interview with one Mexican worker, Cristina Valenzuela, who came forward to share her previous experience in the shuttle program, including how he was injured while working in Wisconsin, sent back to Mexico, and ultimately lost his job. We were just going to work. They always gave us more work because we were stronger workers, because the Americans perhaps work at their own pace, going little by little, whereas we Mexicans are faster, more productive, more everything. Zampira didn't respond to a request for an interview. She told the Wisconsin Examiner, the first newspaper to report on her statement, that she would call on state officials to investigate the company's practices and potential legal violations. The billionaire Uline family, among the biggest Republican mega donors in the nation. See, that's what I don't get. It's like, what is wrong with accountability? That, like, even when you got both parties coming at one guy, both parties, you have the people that call themselves Republicans going at Lindell for what? The signs are there. To me, it's crazy that people don't want to pay attention when you have both parties, Republicans and Democrats. Nobody else is doing that to Amy, to Kendall, to Lisa. No, nobody's doing that. But when it comes to Mike Lindell and Phil Parrish, that's because they're scared of them. And how much are people getting paid to post, tweet? Because people are being paid. Come on now. Money talks. People are being paid to sit here and tweet, to sit here and post, to sit here and comment, not even to tell you on your values, on your morals, but on the morals that they're paid by, on the values that they're paid by. So that's all. I'm just going to leave it at. And I know that he is I'm not a mega Republican. I'm not a mega conservative. I'm not any of that. All I am is Chaz Lawrence Neal, the conservative, the urban conservative. That's it. That's all I can be. And that's who I want to be, Chaz Neal. I don't want to be with none of these titles or whatever, because it's obvious that when people start to look into your backgrounds, and depending on who you are, it's okay. And then depending on others, it's not. And that is one of the really, really biggest problems that we have when it comes to justice, because it's two-tiered. I know people want to say, oh, no, it's not. Stop spreading bullshit. Yes, it is. It's something that people don't want to talk about. It's something that people don't want to talk about. But I'm not scared to talk about it, because at the end of the day, somebody needs to. Somebody definitely needs to. If it's not me, it definitely needs to be somebody. Because even this shit, okay, I didn't want to go off a little base a little bit, but this, even when you look at this, right? So let me share this.
$100 or for
This
like
shit right here is
I want some hard for $1. I'll suck your dick.
bro, what?
I want some hard for $1. I'll suck your dick.
Like $100 or for like what?
$1.
$1?
Yes.
Go up the street. This bitch tripping, Joe.
It should be wild. We really do have serious issues in America, like that people don't want to even have discussions about. But I do want to talk about the fact of, see this, why immigrants can't be Black American, right? Black American, foundational Black Americans are descendants of enslaved Africans in the U.S. Unique generation. See, and it's the part that I don't think a lot of people understand either, right? I don't have any ties to Africa. I have none. I have none to the Caribbean because at the end of the day, those ran out generations ago because all I know is my people being born here on either side of it. Like before America was America is when both of my family's ancestors came to this country. So one is back in the 1700s and the other one's the 1800s. So I don't know anything other than America. Since America was birthed, my family, doesn't matter if it was on the Gunderson side or it doesn't even matter if it was on the Neal side. They were Americans. It didn't matter. Some were enslaved and some were founding fathers. I know that's a weird ass history, but that's the history of America. If people really dug into their backgrounds and dug into their family history, they would find so much, but yet people still don't want to. Unique generational experience shaped by slavery, segregation, and systemic racism. Cultural contributions rooted in Black American history, shared historical struggles, and ties to civil rights movements. Immigrants, African and Caribbean. Recent arrivals or descendants of immigrants. No direct generational link to U.S. slavery. Different cultural experiences shaped by their home countries, and no direct ties to historical Black American civil rights struggles. But yet, we have people that are executive directors of the NAACP, which is a historical Black American organization, and now they've completely turned it into something else because it's not about Black Americans anymore. It's about the Black immigrants. And even that's what's crazy. I know people don't want to say it, but that's the truth. These people literally get paid. Go look up at the NAACP's 990 form and look at how much money goes to their executive board and then how much goes to employees. They spend a lot. How much of that actually hits the streets? I don't know. There's so many categories that people can hide money in that it's ridiculous. But again, people don't want to do their homework. People don't want to look into actually have to read or do anything that they feel like is going to be strenuous. So I wanted to get into Shiloh Hendricks. And I'm probably going to go back to Mike Lindell and Phil Parrish in a little bit here, but I want to go back to Rochester, and I want to go to Shiloh Hendricks. If people don't know, the
it's like Google
came back last night. She was found guilty, not of the boy, but at Shamarky, who took the video. She was found disorderly conduct. People feel how they're going to feel, but I think we need the truth, and the truth should set us free. So here is the part where the defense is having their speaking to the press last night.
Now, it's open. He testified under oath and perjured himself. He perjured himself over and over and over and over again. This was without any stretch of the imagination. It was like I was fighting the prosecutor and the judge. It was like I'm taking on two parties at the same time. The judge and the prosecutor. It was very bizarre. Very bizarre. GoFundMe. Huge, worldwide, giant. It's like Google, right? This is so big. My investigator was going to testify that this page with Shire Jamali's name on it. 5-year-old. The kid's 9. 5-year-old. $340,000 he raised. The judge would not let me show it to a jury. Sorry. The judge would not let me show it to the jury. Okay? And if you go through any of you right now can go online right now, and they're just like, you can't authenticate this. You can't lay foundation. This prosecutor is telling the judge, oh, how do we know this is real? How do we know this is real? So anyone can make this up. You can go online right now, today, right now, go on that page, unless they run and take it down, scroll down. He has an open GoFundMe. He said on the stand he does not. He lied and lied and lied and lied. This entire thing's a shakedown. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. The prosecutor should be ashamed of himself. The judge should be ashamed of herself. I had a battle here for 4 days on a stupid misdemeanor, disorderly conduct. This is nuts. This was crazy. 340,000. Nope. Can't show the jury. 5-year-old. The kid was 9. His name's on it. Can't authenticate it. Still open account. So we're going to appeal it. We will appeal it. We have so many appellate issues, I don't even know where to begin. Judges screaming at me during the trial. Judges interrupting me every time I want to make a record. Judge says to me, Mr. Corrales, you keep wanting to make a record after I ruled. This is crazy. Most rulings during a trial by a judge are made during the trial. And then when you take a break, you make a record, right? You take a break, you make a record. I kept asking. If you're in there and you watch the trial, I kept asking, I need to make a record. I need to make a record. She'd get upset, run in the back. Get upset, run in the back. Your Honor, I need to make a record. It started piling up. All these objections started piling up. Your Honor, I need to make a record. I need to make a record. She'd run in the back. I'm like, Judge, we got to make a record. This is insane. This isn't law. This is a circus. This is monkey court. This is.
And I just want people to know that elections have consequences. When people are at like that high of authority, right? When it comes to a judge, because she has the final word. And when she's acting a certain way or lets politics get involved, and because I can tell you like this, a lot of I can see if I can find his there was a guy that was tweeting it. And now, goddamn, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find his page, but I'm going to let this play and hopefully I'll find what I'm looking for. So just listen, but it's like I said, elections have consequences.
Nuts, right? You make a record. The judge should come out and say, okay, I made my ruling, Mr. Corrales, what is your record you like to make? I try to make a record. She interrupts me from the beginning, right from the start. Every time I tried to make a record, she interrupts me. Every single time. Every single time I'm like, Your Honor, I'm trying to make a record. That's what we do as lawyers, right? I don't know if the lay people or the people in the community understand this. The way trials work is judges make rulings during trial. We don't want to interrupt the trial to make a record every time someone objects and there's a ruling. So when there's a break or you go to lunch or at the end of the day, you make a record. She wouldn't let me make a record. If you're in there, you heard it. She'd talk over me. She'd interrupt me. Wouldn't let me make a record. Over and over and over again. Why? She didn't want anybody to hear what? They didn't disclose the name of Shire Jamali until Monday. The first day of trial. No, I'm not done. Sorry. Until the first day of trial, they didn't even disclose his name. Think about that. A jury trial in the United States of America, I didn't get the name until Monday. when we started the trial until Monday, and then my investigators do a record check. Then we uncover, oh my God, he's got this GoFundMe, $340,000.
Mr. Krellis, a couple of things.
Sure.
According to the court, you agreed to those free trial terms about not getting the witnesses beforehand and
Did not agree to it. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I thought I was coming down here to try a free speech case. You all saw the video. I thought I was coming to Rochester to try a free speech case based on the video. Then it took on an entirely different, it just turned, right? Mr. Jamali takes the stand. Wouldn't answer any question I asked him. He sat there like this. Oh, I don't understand. He looked at his interpreter. I don't understand. I don't understand. Over and over and over again. When the prosecutor asked him a question, he had no problem through the interpreter understanding. Never had a problem understanding. Not one time. I put the detective on the stand. Detective, did he ever have a tough time understanding you? Never had a tough time understanding him. Never had a tough time. Not one time did the detective have any problems understanding. You were in the jury room, or in the trial. You were in the courtroom. You were in the courtroom. You're in the courtroom. He acted like he didn't understand any question I asked him. Every single question was like pulling teeth. It's like, huh? Oh, It went on and on and on. This is a fraud. This whole thing's a fraud. The cameraman? The cameraman. By the way, let's make something clear. They didn't convict him with the child. Your headlines can be about the child. No, they convicted her on the video with the cameraman. The disorderly conduct is about the cameraman. Right. And from what I understand about the cameraman, he has a GoFundMe. And his GoFundMe, hold on, his GoFundMe is he died. He has a GoFundMe that he died. Give money to the cameraman who died. And from what I understand, he's well alive. This whole thing is fucking bullshit.
Mr. Corral.
This is a fraud. This is a fraud upon the community. The courts are now part of this. Keep going. Come on, bring it on.
Mr.
What else?
Corrales, what about Miss Hendricks' Give, Send, Go, where she got, from what I understand...
Don't care. Not part of the trial. That's not part of the trial. She's charged with a crime. I don't give a shit about what she raised. There are free speech advocates all around America that are tired of this shit. And they gave her a bunch of money because they're tired of this shit.
You suggested that Jamali was testifying for money during the trial, that he was doing this for financial gain.
Okay, I'll give you another one. Okay, you ready for this? You ready for this one? He pretends he doesn't speak English. We have him on fucking video, on camera, pictures, sitting out right where you people are sitting, talking to the prosecutors. The two prosecutors talking to him right where you're sitting. No interpreter. Talking for minutes. No interpreter. No interpreter. He speaks English, folks. This is a fraud. But keep going. Let's go. What else?
I got two follow-ups. One,
yep, keep going.
I was wondering.
And you're not going to put in your paper or whatever thing you're part of. You're all part of the shakedown. This media is BS bullshit. Then print the truth. Print the truth. The judge refused to allow the jury to see the GoFundMe page. Print the truth.
You said...
print the truth.
Of course, sir. You said earlier...
Print it.
I will do so as soon as I can ask you some questions. Can we first talk a little bit about your conduct in the courtroom? You were a little combative at times, and you spoke to the jury.
I'm taking on a lot of BS. So
yeah, and you spoke to the jury, and you were talking about how passionate you get.
Yep.
You know, when you talk
and
about
if you were in trouble, you would want me.
Would you let him ask the question?
You're not going to tell me what to do. If you want to tell me what to do, go over there.
And so when you were trying this case, it seemed like this was pretty frustrating. Is this kind of par for the course when you defend someone?
No. This is the most unprofessional circus I've ever been a part of.
Another question. I believe Mr. Jamali's first name was Sheree.
Whatever it is. Don't care. You can correct it. I don't know.
Well, no, I was just wondering if you had caught it earlier.
Oh, did I say it wrong? Print that. No. I said his name wrong.
I was just...
Go with that one.
What? I was just wondering...
Did I say Shire? I didn't say Sheree. Print that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. It wasn't an accusation or anything. I was just wondering if you had noted that.
Yep.
the other thing, you said that you were going to be filing an appeal. For
Absolutely.
This. How soon do you plan on filing?
There are so many appellate issues. This was one of the craziest trials I've ever seen. I would call, text colleagues of mine, lawyer friends of mine, tell them what was going on. No one could believe what was going on. This is insane. This is insane.
Is there anything else you think we should know, or that people should
Oh,
know
the
about
prosecutor pretending he never saw the GoFundMe page
Right.
in Rochester?
Right.
From what I understand, I'm not from here. I didn't know anything about this. Everyone knew about this. And he's arguing that this is authentic? Okay.
Well,
Oh, okay. If this is authentic, the GoFundMe page isn't authentic, he argued. We don't know where this came from. The judge says, oh, anyone could have made this up. Anybody could have made this up. Really? Okay, go with that. Write that one down. Ask the community, because they're going to laugh at you people.
Right.
They're already sick of the media. They're tired of it. They don't believe anything.
You know, that's the one crazy thing that I couldn't understand, right? Is like during the trial, and you know what? I did find what I was looking for. So let me switch over there, right? So this is day one. I'm just going to go through it a little bit. Jury selection began today. Jurors filled out a questionnaire, and several were questioned individually about their answers, mainly what they had seen or heard about the case and where they got that information. They did ask a lot of questions. I don't know if like how people answered. I know when they said on the news that most of the jurors had reported that they had seen the case. It was a viral video, and it has been. There's no way that if you are in southern Minnesota or even in Olmsted County, there wasn't any way you could not know the case. I mean, it was on TikTok, it was on YouTube, it was on Twitter, X, Facebook, Threads. I mean, it like literally blew up. So for the fact that people, the judge and the prosecutor were saying they didn't know, I kind of feel like that's BS to me. That's bullshit. Because everybody knew. Everybody knew. I had niggas that, you know, what's the crazy part is niggas that don't even pay attention to politics paid attention to this shit. All because of the word nigger. All because of the word nigger. But they didn't let this is the crazy thing for me, is that they didn't want the information. Everybody got paid. Everybody. Shiloh's is almost at $1 million. The families, and I want people to know that there was 2 families charged in this case for fraud because they said they were the family. And even Rochester police had the information because it came out in court that the boy had a GPS bracelet on. So listen, I don't like, I'm not going to talk about how, if I agreed with how Shiloh Hendricks reacted, what she said was foul, but it wasn't a word that needed charges, because I get called nigger every day on X, every day about these white, and they call themselves Republicans. They call themselves Republicans. So how is that like? So it's really not even a big ass thing to me anymore. It really isn't, because here's the thing: they say nigger, but then they'll say nigga. So they know what they're doing. They ain't stupid. They know what they're doing. And like I said, I don't agree with what Shiloh said, but I don't agree that she was charged with no disorderly conduct, because nigger was put in red cups on a bridge in Rochester by Century High School. Nobody was charged. Even though that affected the community, they found out who did it, but how they did with the community was saying that they were all kids. So then it was just kids being kids. How's that right? How's that fair? It's not. Because when it happens to somebody that is not a Black American, doesn't even understand what a nigger is, but yet Like, this shit don't make no sense to me. Quick notes from the questioning. Out of 16 jurors, almost all mentioned Facebook. A couple said television, IG, TikTok, and only one said Twitter. Facebook remains the dominant source for news and information for most people. TikTok and Instagram each got a couple of mentions, but the name X wasn't brought up even once. A handful of prospective jurors openly admitted they could not be fair and impartial. Surprisingly, the judge didn't strike many of them from the pool, even after they repeated it over and over. The jury has not been selected yet. That process should wrap up tomorrow. There goes her give, send, go. Let's see what it said. Yeah, it's almost at 1,865,000. And the other, like, I think he took his shit down, or it might have came down or whatever, but they definitely. Oh, I didn't even show y'all the GoFundMe. Whoops, let me go send go. But yeah, so here's Shiloh's go send go, almost $865,671.65. So yeah, like I said, everybody got rich. I guess that's just how it goes. So there's the day one update. Go back up. Go to. So here
she is seen calling a black child a racial slur is headed to trial. Court records say 37-year-old.
See, this is what the media does. They say black, even though they know he's Somalian. Even though they know he's Somalian, they use black because they want to divide. They want to divide people. It's not about uniting, it's about division. Because why come out here and lie to the people and say black when you know he's not black? But by politics, he's black. And that's ridiculous to me. And it shows just like of how much our media in Minnesota sucks. It doesn't care if it's in St. Paul, Minnesota, or Minneapolis, doesn't care if it's in Rochester. They all suck because at the end of the day, they're going to do what's right for them, not what's right for the community, not what's right for the people, but what's right for the ratings and for them.
The woman in this viral video from a Rochester park where she is seen calling a black child a racial slur is headed to trial. Court records say 37-year-old Shiloh Hendricks goes before a jury Monday in Olmsted County on disorderly conduct charges. And prosecutors intend to use this viral video as evidence in that trial. Her defense attorney argues the charges are unconstitutional and protected by free speech. Now, that incident happened in April 2024 and was followed by calls by the
So that was that one. This was, they hid their faces. And my thing of it is, like, if you're out here for the right, why hide your faces? But then I get how people harass and, do all that other shit, is because that's why Shiloh had to make that give, send, go. So y'all made them rich, if we're going to be honest. Y'all definitely made them rich. Let's see, there goes. Right here.
On Tuesday. The jury makeup so far for this case will be 3 men and 5 women. Now, Shiloh Hendricks is charged with 2 disorderly conduct charges, which are misdemeanors but still requires a criminal trial. Now, the defense this morning asking the jurors questions like if they have ever been called a defensive or an offensive word, if they know about cancel culture and what that is, asking jurors about their life and upbringing if they're from a small town. The state asking a little bit more targeted questions on if they are friends with people that have different backgrounds, if they know anybody with a disability, if they've ever come across a person in public that has used a racially charged word, and how they handle that situation. We'll keep you updated.
I just don't get that shit. I really don't, and I still don't. And like I said, I don't agree with what Shiloh said, but everything that's happened has been political. And that to me is that's not about justice. It's not about accountability. It's about, we're going to make this political. Doesn't matter if it's right. Doesn't matter if it's wrong. We're just going to make this political.
Anything you people say, they don't believe anything you people print. Yeah, go with that.
that was one of the issues in the court, was an argument over just courtroom procedures and courtroom rules. What was your perspective on kind of getting shut down a few times when you were trying to introduce that evidence that the judge and the
The
prosecutor
judge said
that-
Rule 901 of the rules of evidence only applies to prosecutors. You were there. I mean, come on. Come on. Look it up. Do a little Google search. Do some work. Learn the law. Do an actual job. You're in the media. Look it up. Rule 901. Judge, that's a prosecutor's rule. No, it isn't. No, it is not. That rule applies to both sides.
Did your client show any remorse after getting out of the courtroom today regarding the statement by the NAACP president about the impact that this incident had on the community as a whole? Not
You asked me this before. This is for you people. This is a clown show. The community. The community doesn't give a shit. Okay? I'm bombarding the community. Half the people in the jury room are like, when I'm bombarding them, why are we here? What is this about? Why are we, what's going on? You asked me this before, like, oh, what about, last interview you said, oh, what about the community? Like, how's it affected the community? There is such a tiny percentage of people that drive this stuff now. Your cancel culture, you write this stuff, let's make it go viral. You're all part of the same sickness, right? Oh, how do we get hits and clicks? And you're dying. You're dying.
So they brought up NAACP's press conference about reaction. So I want to play that now.
For the crime that she's committed. And so I just wished we had a different outcome, regardless of the maximum, even 90 days would not suffice. But that would have been more appropriate versus, just probation. But I'll take questions.
With this sentence, you called it a mixed result. Where do you expect efforts to go from here to try and heal the community?
I want to say something because they talk about heal the community, right? When it comes down to racial incidents, they don't want to talk about it. Let's be honest. They don't want to talk about what's the real issues in Rochester. And that's, to me, is like why I say we have so many house niggas in Rochester, because you should have seen black men. You shouldn't have seen Nigerians. You shouldn't have seen Somalians. You should have seen black people, because I don't understand how so many people get frustrated or even riled up when the boy didn't even know what the word meant. I can guarantee the boy didn't know what the word meant. So it's like, when are we going to finally stand up and say enough is enough? Because I'm tired of people using words to be able to get rich. To be able to get rich. They can use that black title to get money. Why doesn't people want to stand up to that? I don't get that. Like, what is so wrong? But I guess when people don't want to be seen as black, they don't. I think a lot of black people hate their own skin color, to be honest, because I see more around white people.
It's a difficult question. Normally you talk about restorative practices. That was never going to happen in this case, because to have restorative justice, you need to have two willing parties. Ms. Hendricks has no remorse whatsoever. Again, she's a disgrace. So it's not going to be true.
This is a man that is running for mayor of Rochester, and you're going to call her. I don't even understand this shit. All right, let me play it back a little bit.
Justice, you need to have two willing parties. Ms. Hendricks has no remorse whatsoever. Again, she's a disgrace.
Yeah, see, he calls her a disgrace. Calls her I don't see it as a disgrace. Maybe she didn't use the right words, But she stuck up for her children. She stuck up for her child. She seen somebody go in her diaper bag, which they tried to say was 5, but was really 9, and stole some applesauce and something else, right? The father seen this, but did nothing. Even when Shiloh was chasing, he still did nothing. It wasn't until the nigger word was used that a Somalian, Shamarki, because he probably knows what that word meant, and started filming. Everybody got rich off of this shit. I would say almost $1.5 million went for this incident. 1.5 million. Because Shamarki almost got about $300,000 on his GoFundMe. And then even the family. So it was like we never got any straight answers. Never. Even when, okay, here's the thing too. So this didn't make any sense to me of why didn't Rochester police already know who the family was if they had GPS on him already? There's just a lot of shit that didn't add up and didn't make any sense. And to me, this is no different. This is what I call Wale, a Nigerian always asking Caucasians permission, because that's what he's doing. He's asking like, yeah.
So it's not going to be true restorative practices. We're going to bring our community together, and this case was also about, sending an important message that if you hurt anybody in our community, the Rochester branch of the NAACP, our community, we're going to be there. We've been there as a civil rights organization, the oldest. All across our country, we have people made up of normal citizens trying to make our community better. So this sends a message that we're going to continue to fight. We will have to heal our community. It'll be difficult for us to do that. But this is also the first time that I've recalled where we've actually brought somebody.
See what he said? This is the first time that he remembers they ever did anything about. So that should tell you something. When it was done to Black Americans, when it was done on Century High School, when it was done on a representative's house, they didn't get no justice. Even though they got cameras all over Rochester, we didn't get no answers. But because of the fact that the thing of it is, if this would have never been recorded, there wouldn't have never been no charges. If it would have never been recorded, there wouldn't have been no charges. That's what people really need to think about. Because I do believe it'll get turned in appeal court.
In partnership, empowered by our community to justice. So this is an important first step. It's not the outcome that we were looking for, but we didn't get nothing. We got something, not just what we wanted.
Like you said, a mixed outcome today, and she was convicted on 1 count.
Yep.
Which you said is one of the first times this has happened in this community. Does it give you hope that if there was another horrendous act of hate in this community, that there would be more accountability on the way?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. It's going to take just all of us to really address this. People have been, and this is not about freedom of speech. We've always talked about this was about her words and her actions. There have been things that we haven't been able to share because of this, but we knew her, the impact of the trauma that she impacted on the young boy, Black boy with a disability, and the impact that had on family members, because he's not able to express things himself. So you need to look at the impact of the trauma, on others. So that's what she did. It's just callous. So, we are where we are. In terms of our community, we're going to continue to heal our community. We're going to continue to stand for justice, and You know, if other situations come forward, we're always going to be there. Yeah, but it's a tough day. You know, I mean, you think about just the family. They are a good family. They work hard. They're humble. They're not interested in financial gain. They're not interested in publicity. There's a reason why you didn't know about their names, because the family just wanted to keep quiet. You know, and we're not looking to use them for any.
I want to show you something, right? So, a few years ago, I think it was 2024, a man died. Melvin Tyrone Bush died in Olmsted County Jail, a black man. NAAPC never said nothing. Never said nothing. NAA's position, the provided news coverage does not include any statement regarding the death of Melvin Tyrone Bush by the NAACP. They didn't come out with no statement. But when it came to Clavon White, which they should have, they said something they should have. But when it came to Walter Bush, a black man died in Olmsted County Jail. Why isn't a national rights organization not standing up for that, not calling it out? Like, come on. Y'all say y'all stand up for what's right. They didn't say nothing about it. Nothing about it. But yet they stand up for civil rights. For black people, that's baloney. I just showed you they don't. I just showed you they don't. They make money off of pain. That's the one thing that y'all need to understand, is that a lot of people get paid off of the pain of our loved ones.
Publicity or anything like that. Our focus is solely on justice for our community. You know, I shared in the testimony, you know, the normal, basically the way they live is essentially you have mom and dad sleeping on the floor because this young boy with his disability moves a lot, and that's why he has Project Lifesaver. So that is their regular life. While we all have the luxury of beds, they don't have that. And so when you think about that, and you think about, well, what does justice mean? It was never going to be about the financial aspect. You know, even if it was $100,000, that still would not be justice, and that was never our focus. You know, our focus was sending a strong message. So this is an important first step, not what we wanted. We didn't get nothing, but it's definitely not what we wanted. And we're gonna.
They say they didn't get nothing. They said that they didn't get nothing. Lying like a motherfucker. They got rich off of this shit.
Continue to fight for everybody.
What have you learned from this incident and your role in the community and your response to a situation like this that might help you in the future?
Well, first of all, our community are tired. You know, they're frustrated. You know, this is not the first time we've had situations. We've had, you know, the bridge incident, which was not charged, and that should have been charged. You know, there are a lot of things that could have been done there. You know, public nuisance laws. But it takes making sure you have city and county attorneys that fully understand the importance and meaning of justice. So that's number one. What was your other question?
Maybe that's something that you will learn for the future.
Something that we'll learn for the future is the response from the community, the response from the world towards this child. That is something that we can hold on to. We can hold on to love. You know, when we established the GoFundMe, we did that in response because, you know, of the hateful messages that she was using to raise a lot of money. And we countered that. We wanted to make sure we countered that. And the community and the world responded. but we were not going to go into who can raise the most money. That's not ethical. That's not what we're all about. So what we can hold on to is this. People in the world, people in our community cared about this family enough to send your prayers, to send donations, to figure out how can we support. So that's something important. So the community responded. The other thing is that, it's going to take, organizations like the NAACP and others to continue to be watchdogs to make sure that every member of our community understand that, they have someone that they can rely on. Again, this is not the outcome we were looking forward to, but this is the first time that I recall that we've done something like this.
Let's say it like this. When I've reached out to the NAACP years ago, like during 2020, 2021, right? When it had to do with black, they didn't want nothing to do with that shit. They don't want nothing to do with black people, especially if you don't think like them. Because I'm tired. Like the one thing, I'm tired. And I think a lot of black people in Minnesota are tired. Like, when are we going to stand up for what's right and not just talk about it? Like, that's the one part that I literally do not understand. It's like, when are we going to stand up for what's right? And fight back on the narratives so we can get to the truth. There shouldn't be nothing wrong with that. There should be nothing wrong with coming to the truth, getting to the truth. Because the truth matters. So does accountability. Because you're not getting true accountability if you're not getting honesty. If you're not getting truth, because it was all built on a lie. Just like with Marvin and Maya Burrell. Marvin Haynes and Maya Burrell. That prosecution was on a lie. That was on a lie. So I hope people can fully understand it at some point and see that, yes, we ourselves are part of the problem. It's because we don't stand up for what's right. We always want to stand up when we feel like what's wrong, but never want to stand up for what's really wrong. And that to me is, I don't really get. Even in like Madison, Wisconsin right now with Corey Ruiz, it's like that video is really bad. It's really bad. To me, that video was worse than George Floyd. Meaning he killed the guy 3 times, shot him in the head. Shot him in the head 3 times. And there was 4 cops. 4. So it's like, when are we going to stand up for what's right? When are we going to stand up for what's right? And even Mike Lindell today at 1:00 will be on the Truth Hurts podcast. Y'all need to watch that. You need to understand because he's not talking about amnesty. Lindell is not talking about amnesty. And this is coming from a man who was tough on him, who was tough on Lindell for his past. But when you actually read his plans, he's got plans. They're just not a fairy tale. What's crazy is he's doing more for black people in these plans than Lisa, Walter, any of them, AK. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about. First of all, AK has no understanding of being a black American because he's African. His daddy came over here back over in the 70s on a school visa. Got married. So to be honest, I'm not even really sure because he had a family already in Africa when he came over here. So, and that's not me lying. Look it up. Go talk to AK. AK will tell you his daddy already had kids when he came over here. His daddy already had kids. But yeah, I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I want to put the information out here. The same thing when it comes to Ned Abdul. I got black people coming at me, but don't say anything to the white mainstream media. Nothing. They saying the same shit I'm saying. They don't say nothing because they don't listen, man. It's easier to go at other black people than to actually go at the problem, because then when you go at the problem, there's consequences, right? I'm just one person. But if you say something about like Lisa DeMoult, she got a billionaire behind her. She got a whole team. I'm just one person. But I'm still going to stand. I stand on what I said. I stand on it. 10 toes down, because I can tell you right now, a lost art, you niggas don't know how to box. You don't know how to fight. I'm not scared to go into a cell, a 6x8, and close the door. I'm not scared of that. Where there ain't no weapons, where there ain't nothing but your two fists. I'm not scared of that. But I know a lot of you niggas are. A lot of them are. It doesn't, when I say niggas, I'm talking about white people too, because they scared of it. Dustin Grage, I'm going to keep on putting, AK, either one of you niggas want to take this shit. John Justice. Like, for real, this is, to me, people want to say, oh, violence shouldn't be. Yes, what do you mean violence? Why the fuck you telling a black man that violence shouldn't be a part of politics when all my people know is brutalness? When all they know is violence when it comes to political awareness. We were first, when America was first born, we were fucking slaves. We were slaves. We were slaves. We had to come up. Ain't no other motherfucking nationality in America has done that. Went from slavery, listen, this is the shit that makes me like kind of mad because black people built America. We don't get no respect. We get shitted on. We get shitted on. Look at Black Wall Street. Look at the black massacres. Where's the white massacres? The only native one I hear about is the one from back in the 1800s. Come on, man. We're the only nationality, color, that gets dogged in America, and it doesn't matter if it's from immigrants, and it doesn't even matter if it's from white people. And it don't even matter if it's our own people, because some of these niggas get paid. It's the fact that people don't want to go do their homework. They don't, that's the, like, be the bullshit to me is like, people don't want to go do their homework. They would just rather go with the narrative and run with the lie and see how far it can get. Because nobody remembers when the truth finally comes out because you believe in so much in that lie. It's the same thing about like what's going on in Madison. You have all these angles of the videos, but you know what's missing? Body cam, because none of them niggas had it. That takes away a lot of this shit that was with the night, because I can tell you right now, by looking at the videos from I've seen like 4 different angles. If you would see the body cam footage from any of the officers that were in that situation, but they don't have it, you would see if the knife was really a threat. But because we can't see that, we have to take their word. But we can't take away what we've seen on video. Because there's no way in hell you should have shot that man 3 times in the face. Where was he a threat? Yes, there was a knife present. I'm not saying that there wasn't no knife. But at the time, you don't even see the knife and none of the wrestling around. But I see guns. I see them grabbing for a taser. I didn't see nobody try to grab handcuffs. I didn't see none of that. And yes, it was a short video. It's like 2 minutes long. But that's what we see. We see the literally ending of a situation. Should he have died like that? No, because he has a criminal background. We all have criminal backgrounds. If y'all ain't listen, I know everybody got either DWI, a jaywalking, something. Because I see why a lot of you niggas be funny anyways, because you really not a bowdy anyways. You ain't never been to jail. You ain't never been to prison. So now that you got that little lavish lifestyle, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. I don't got loyalty to none of you niggas. None. The only person I'm loyal to is God. God. Well, I shouldn't even just say that. But I go by God's plan. Not no Democrats, not no BLM, not no Republican. Because, yeah, I'm a conservative, but that doesn't make me a Republican. Doesn't make me MAGA. Because even just like I put on my Twitter last night when, YG and the Game had verses last night, and YG came out with a song FDT, fuck Donald Trump. And I put it up there. I was like, probably going to get in trouble for this shit, but I don't care. Listen, just because I'm a conservative doesn't mean I'm okay with Trump. Do I agree with a lot of the shit that he's doing? Yes, I didn't vote for him. I voted for a black man that I thought was, well, I shouldn't even thought, because I still do think it, that would have done great things in the White House. And has a story that a lot of these politicians couldn't even put the same shoes on and walk a mile in that man's shoes. So that's Andy Williams Jr. out of Illinois. And I like there's a lot of people that I've met along the way since 2020 that I have total admiration for. I mean, I can think about Reverend Tim Christopher. Man, I love that man more than anything. Like, people don't even know what Reverend Tim Christopher has done for me, because when people that I called friends or even family members wouldn't even pick up the phone or wouldn't even try to help, Reverend Tim Christopher did. He's always been there. Doesn't matter if it was just to talk. He's been there. And when it came to helping people, he's been there. There wasn't no strings attached. He didn't want nothing from me. Not many people have been like that. It always came with strings attached. And even when me and Marcus met the guy from Philly, Operation Hug the Block, he's Dr. Umar daddy. That was wild to me. I thought that was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Even though I know they didn't really, wanted to like, he just, that was his son or whatever. So I mean, I understand the whole family thing ain't being good, because my family ain't good. So I mean, I understand it. But I mean, I met some incredible people. Incredible. I mean, I'll tell you, like, one of the greatest people that I've met was George Floyd's brother. We were sitting in Cortez Rice's house, in an apartment, and we were just back to back to back to back to back smoking blunts. Back to back. We smoked like 9 in a row. And I mean, that was the highest I'd ever been. But then that was also the realest conversation that I feel like I've had too. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the things that have come with that, I don't regret it. I mean, I look back at a lot of things and I don't regret it. I look back at my time with, birthday parties with Jacob Blake, being with, Katie Wright and Aubrey. Those are priceless memories. Those are things I will never forget. Meeting Tenica Shannon, Fred's mama. I met her. I met some incredible people when I went out to Washington, D.C. I met Hunter's mom from Arkansas. Even when I've been out to Kenosha or even like Akron or even when I went out to Standing Rock. I mean, I've learned valuable lessons everywhere along the line, and I don't regret it. Not one bit. Not one bit. Yeah, it is. Watching that video, I don't know if you're still on here, Catherine, but watching that video, and I've watched it numerous times because it's like I see people commenting on it or whatever. So then when I look at the comment, it automatically starts playing. But I've watched it probably like 100 times now. And I can't imagine, even like when I seen the videos of Casey Goodson or, others who basically were outnumbered, wasn't very armed, but yet they got a death sentence. So watching it is hard, but it's something that I need to do. It's something that I've watched Jalen Walker. I've watched I watched a lot of body cam footage or whatever, but there's some shit that a lot of family members don't want to see. And to be honest, I think it's hard to even see, but they should see it, and it takes me back all the way to Emmett Till's mama, Mammy. They felt like they shouldn't show Emmett's body, but yet she wanted Jet Magazine and the NAACP to take pictures because She wanted to show America what these people had done to her child. You know, I mean, even like yesterday on Twitter, I got into a great conversation with a woman, and I mean, shit, it was a great conversation, and we were talking about like the starts, and I know a lot of people don't really want to talk about that, but that's how we all came to this shit. Somebody has some kind of story of what made them get off the couch and get involved. Mine was George Floyd. Uh, Other people have other reasons, but mine, and I think it's because of the connection I had to that community, because I was born there. But here is day two. The state's first witness, the father of the child, testified that the child was actually 9 years old at the time of the incident, not 5, not 8. He further testified that he wears a police installed ankle monitor because the child runs off 2 to 3 times per day and must be held by the hand at all times. See, that's what people like. Why don't people want to know that shit? What's so wrong with the truth? Nothing. Nothing should be wrong. 10 days after the incident before contacting police. So he didn't even think it was that bad of an issue. That's what's crazy to me. All white jury, FYI. One of the alternates is Asian. So it's pretty much an all white jury. So you had a white jury. It's like, yeah, I still don't agree with it. So here is the GoFundMe for the boy. Right? Says it in here. There's a lot of shit that happened with this book. Like 341,000. Let's see. Talking about it wasn't about money. These niggas, all this should be about money. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that language is. But yeah, here literally shows right here that they get money. I don't know why they don't want to just admit to the shit. Yeah. But it definitely is going to cause some issues in Rochester, and for the fact that he had a ankle monitor should tell a lot. And that the police didn't even want to do their jobs and get involved or get activated until they felt like they had to. And that's the fucked up part. So I hope everybody has a good Friday, good rest of your day. I hope everybody enjoys their day. I hope everybody enjoys the weekend. Get out here. It's going to be hot. It's going to be warm. I'll be back Monday. Wednesday, I don't know what time because got something to do. Because Chief Charlie's closed next Friday in Rochester. And I'm definitely going to go check that out. Go eat my last time at, because I have some memories at Chief Charlie's. I mean, that was a place that, when I was younger, especially when I first moved to Rochester, they had 2 locations, and they had one downtown in the Galleria Mall in Rochester. And I used to always eat. I mean, I've been a breakfast guy since I was little. I've always loved like eggs, French toast, pancakes, sausage. I ain't really a bacon person, but just been really into them type of food. So I always found Cheap Charlie's as like comfort food. And it's nice to know that people that I've taken there and got to experience it, and even because we went this Wednesday, and Ashley's son-in-law was there eating with his friends before they went skateboarding, and I was like, damn, I forgot we even went there with them, but because we had took Kendra and Aaron there a few times, but just seeing them there with their friends and like me or Ashley didn't bring them, it's kind of nice to actually see. And actually kind of nice to see that they got to be a part of Rochester nostalgia, because I mean, this is a staple that's been in Rochester since 1958. But again, today, 1:00, Truth Hurts. Mike Lindell will be on there. Please go check that out. I am going to get up out of here. It's Friday. Hope everybody has a great day, has a nice weekend, and I will see y'all Monday, same time, same place. You already know what it is, Derby Conservative.
Hey, tell baby, give me a shot. Left a lawyer bitch and went fell in love with a bop. I bossed her up, invested books, let her move in my spot. She showed me loyalty cause she gave me drop on the op. But all that extra shit gotta go, little bitch, I'm a boss. Told baby I'll be home, I'm trapping, I'm getting off. Chill with that love shit, you got Big Ricky getting soft. Separation anxiety, but baby, that ain't my fault. I ain't switching up on you, I'm just getting prepared for the cross, that's all I know. It's hard to be alone, but babe, I gotta let it go. Got rich to help my folks, they hung me by a rope. Paid all my mama